Hey, what is going on, you damn toddler? Today we're going to be playing some games with Blissey V. This is Jace Patrick's list. I saw it the other day on a tournament on Limitless, and I was like, that's a really cool take on the Blissey deck. I'd seen a couple other lists, wasn't as intrigued by them, but for something about this list specifically stood out to me, so I decided to play it the other day on the stream, twitch.tv/AzulGG. If you didn't know, I stream every day except Tuesdays, and I won't be streaming the next couple days. I actually won't be posting any videos here on the YouTube over the next couple days because I'll be taking a little bit of a holiday break over the weekend, but I'll be back at it on Monday, the 20, what is the Monday coming up? The 27th. So a little bit of a break from me from streaming and videos, but I'll be back at it on the 27th, regularly uploading videos and streaming every day that isn't Tuesday over at twitch.tv/AzulGG. First thing in the description, give it a click, give it a follow. But yeah, played some of Jace Patrick's Blissey deck, and we went on a 10-game win streak, and every game felt super easy until we eventually went up against a single strike Urshifu and lost, because Blissey is weak to fighting, and we don't play the Dunsparce in this list, and I actually really like that because now we don't open Dunsparce, and to be honest, Dunsparce just isn't that great in general. Like, we still pretty much always lose to Rapid Strike Urshifu still, and even up against the single strike, they can kind of focus down the Dunsparce and then go into the Urshifus afterwards, so it's not 100%, you know, a fix for that matchup either. But yeah, went on a 10-game win streak with the Blissey, destroying every Jolteon and Mew we played up against. I was actually really surprised by how good the Mew VMAX matchup was for this deck. I thought it would be closer, but it really did just kind of blow it out of the water. So if you guys don't know how Blissey V works, it has that Blissful Blast attack that does 10 damage plus 30 more damage for each energy attached to this Pokemon. And if we do any damage with the attack, we can search our discard pile for up to 3 energy cards and attach them to Blissey V. So a lot of ways to discard cards out of the hand, and most of the time we're focusing on discarding our energy. Of course, we have 4 research, and then we have a couple Zinnia's Resolve and a couple Alistars, other ways to also discard cards from the hand. And then from there, a lot of healing and a lot of disruption. 4 Crushing Hammer, 2 Fan of Waves, 4 Paths to the Peak, and that is why our Mew VMAX matchup is so solid. All this kind of disruption is just really, really good against Mew VMAX. And then also, like I mentioned, a lot of healing. 4 Hyper Potion, 4 Lucky Ice Pop, which I didn't think I would like so much in this deck, but they actually work out really, really well and complement the healing of the Hyper Potion really well as well. They kind of like go together and making sure we can like fully heal all the damage that was taken, you know, from attacks from our opponent. And there is also 2 Suspicious Food Tins in here that heal 80 damage if we have a Psychic attached to a Pokemon. We discard the Psychic. So the point of the deck is to just kind of build up a Blissey, disrupt our opponent to slow them down, and then also heal the Blissey as we build it up to kind of build up, give ourselves that much more time to build up the Blissey until we can get to like a point where we have a really big Blissey, or throughout the game maybe we build up a couple average sized Blisseys to close out games. But the deck felt insanely good. Like I said, the top 2 decks, Jolteon and Mew VMAX, you have an insanely good matchup against both of those decks. And yeah, the deck was a ton of fun, so I want to share it with you guys. So once again, shout out to Jace Patrick for the list, and let's go ahead and let's get into some games. If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell. All right, let's get it. We're going second in this first one. The opening hand has some options here. We got the Poke Gear. We don't have a draw supporter yet, but we do have this Poke Gear. And even if we don't end up with the draw supporter, we have some Lucky Energy and top decks to work with potentially. We're up against the Mew VMAX, which has felt like a pretty good matchup, like I mentioned. We have to be careful of early potential one-hit KOs. But once we kind of get past that, it does feel like it is a pretty good 4 mulligans from my opponent. Usually we're the deck that is actually mulliganing. We have 4 mulligans from my opponent. Okay, we'll take those extra cards to work with. And I actually am really hoping my opponent does put down some energy on this first turn, because we got these Crushing Hammers that I would love to use here. Yeah, I want him to have like an energy at least, not too aggressive of a start, but I wouldn't mind it if my opponent puts an energy in play or something like that. And then with a hand like this, to be honest, we're really looking for like a Zinnia's Resolve, or yeah, Zinnia's Resolve, to be honest, would probably be the best supporter here. Only 4 Pokemon in play for my opponent though, so they didn't have like a super aggressive start. We did get that Zinnia, so we're gonna go ahead and use that. I'm gonna discard. I don't really want to capture. Oh, I kind of should capture something into play here. Actually, I should capture another Blissey. So I'm going to play the capture here, get another Blissey, Zinnia's Resolve away. These 2, draw 4 cards, still a decent amount of cards, I guess. Would have liked a little bit more. We got a Path to the Peak, and I'm going to be aggressive with it, I think. I think it's probably correct to be aggressive here, and we could even play a Crushing Hammer, trying to remove that Psychic energy from my opponent, limit their options on their first turn, or their next turn, I should say. And yeah, we got a pretty good start here. Got the path, got a solid attack off, got 2 energy in the discard pile, or 2 energy out of the discard pile, I maybe should say. And we also got that crushing hammer heads to put my opponent had no energy in play. And sometimes these kind of starts is all we need to beat Mew VMAX, to be honest. Like, if they don't have a stadium here and they don't have any follow-up attack this turn, this is sometimes all we need to win the game, to be honest. We'll see what my opponent has here. Another Mew comes down. There's the Elsa Sparkle. I have sometimes held back using crushing hammer because it's much better to get rid of the fusion strike energy actually with the crushing hammers if I can. Like, if I get a choice of what I'm going to remove from play, get rid of the fusion strike energy is a little bit better. But in this scenario, actually, my opponent's gonna go with the crushing hammer here off the bench. We actually can knock out the active this turn. We're doing 100 damage right now. We can make it 150 with the powerful energy. Should probably start with the Zinnia's Resolve, though. Get rid of a capture and a psychic. We also have a cape to throw on this active Blissey and make it quite the tank. And then hoping for a crushing hammer heads here, and we will get rid of that fusion strike energy off the bench of my opponents. They can't utilize the Melodious Echo for too much damage. We don't really mind. They can Techno Blast, but if they have to like switch every time they Techno Blast, we don't mind too much if they do use that Techno Blast, to be honest. We'll eventually like run out of switch cards because we can like heal to match the damage they do, and then they Techno Blast again, and so on and so forth. So, and putting a bunch of basic energy in the discard pile also isn't that great if my opponent just finds their Training Courts, and then we can't bump it with another Patch of the Peak. They can use Training Court like 2-3 turns in a row, recovering the basic energy. So this is the only problem with putting down the second Blissey, is my opponent could have, and they do have, a boss for this Blissey. But this Blissey is still set up. It's not like they completely took this Blissey out of play or anything, and we can look to set up another Blissey this turn as well. So I'm gonna start with an Alistar here. Drew into 1 energy, so I'm gonna discard the capture. I guess that's the only thing I really want to discard here. I throw a cape down, throw the energy down, and then just go ahead and Blissful Blast only for 40 damage, but my opponent is doing absolutely nothing because we have this Path to the Peak in play, besides energy mix. I guess they're using energy mix when that's all they're doing for turn, and we've already dealt with so many of the fusion strike energy. We don't have to be afraid of the big Melodious Echo anymore, which is good top deck from my opponent there. One of the few things we are scared of in this matchup is the potential of the big Melodious Echo. Tablet switch, so my opponent could have a huge turn here and actually get a knockout on this Blissey, but that would only take care of one of my Blisseys, and we still have potentially 2 more Blisseys that my opponent has to go through to actually even get close. Like, they have 2 more Blisseys to even get close to, or to win the game. Like, they KO this Blissey, but they need triple tablets still. They need the VMAX, they need the energy, and even once they do that, they literally can't one-hit KO Blisseys anymore. It's just impossible once they're down this many tablets. So once they use triple tablet here, this Blissey being down triple tablet plus 2 fusion strike energy already, it's just impossible to get 1-hit KOs on Blissey anymore. Here comes the VMAX, still whiffing. We're still missing that energy. I guess they had the Trading Court used there, so they got the energy now. The Mew is set up, but yeah, like I said, they can't even 1-hit KO this one yet. They might get there, we'll see. Like I said, they need 1 more, but it looks like they're gonna whiff the knockout on this Blissey even the Techno Blast comes in for 270. Yeah, not quite a KO. I have to decide how I want to play this turn. I'm going to start with the Alistar here. I might play a couple of these, actually. Take the supporters out of the deck, because we're not going to research this hand anytime soon, so we may as well take them out of the deck so I don't draw into them off the Alistar and have a higher chance of drawing into energy, which is the main card I'm looking for. Gonna get rid of one of these. And don't really want a Crushing Hammer unless we have a Stadium replacement, I guess. We don't have a ton of HP left. I'd always go with another Techno Blast. We could potentially get really lucky with the pop, though, so I think we should go with use the pops here, see if we just get really lucky. If we get really lucky, that's great. If we don't, it's not that bad if we just don't get really lucky. But so far, so good with the second Ice Pop, and that's where we stop. Okay, so I don't really want to use the Suspicious Food Tin here. I'd rather save it for the next Blissey. If we had gotten a couple more off to the point where I could force my opponent to like use a tablet or something if I use a Suspicious Food Tin, then I would, but didn't quite get to that point. So we're just going to go ahead and get that 70 damage in there. Once again, don't really need to swing for a whole ton anymore in this game. We can swing for little bits of damage, and this Blissey is really the big Blissey, and it's gonna get that much bigger on the next attack with it. And then we got like a Hyper Potion. This is Suspicious Food Tin. We could draw into more healing cards as well to just keep this Blissey alive and around. If they can't KO this one, it doesn't really matter what else they do. If they KO 2 other Blisseys, they don't KO our big Blissey, it doesn't really matter. And if we need to, we could get a third Blissey in play as well. We don't even have a third one in play right now, but if we need it, we can set that up. But yeah, if this Blissey doesn't stick around, it's really not that big of a deal. But if I got one more head with the Ice Pop, I would have used the Suspicious Futon to keep this Blissey out of just a Techno Blast range. Currently, my opponent also needs an energy, actually. Or a switch card. They need an energy or a switch card. And actually, they are down 2 switch. Or they're actually down 3 switch. Maybe I could have just gone with a boss up on a Genesect to trap that in the active, to be honest. I didn't realize they were down 3 switch. I thought they were down 2 of them. Here comes a Sparkle. Gonna get themselves one of their last few energy. They probably only have 1 energy left, actually, now. 4 Fusion Strike energy and 3 basic energy is probably what they're running. It's kind of the go-to count these days. So... my opponent has 1 energy left to work with, probably. Of course, not every list is always the same, but I would make a guess. And like I said, they're also maybe out of switch cards. They're actually down 3 switch cards here. So I could just go with a boss on a Genesect. We could actually go boss Genesect KO, boss Genesect KO, and I don't think my opponent could actually KO us back, actually, to be down 3 tablet. So we could just go with that route as well, to be honest. We have so much freedom at this point. It's kind of insane. I think I am just gonna go with the boss KO a Genesect, get some more energy, and then boss KO a Genesect. I'll even throw out this Crushing Hammer while we have it to get rid of the last Fusion Strike energy. Just take that out of play, I guess, right? Why not? Yeah, get rid of the last Fusion Strike energy. If I got rid of a basic energy, they could just recover it with the Training Court. I could actually recover an energy with the Training Court, but I can just take the knockout and recover it through the Blissful Blast. Yeah, there we go. 210 damage. So now we are doing 270 damage. So we actually KO either of the Mew VMAXs in play. We're doing 270 left, and this one even has more damage on it, 240 HP left. So yeah, we're KOing either of these Mew VMAXs, and that's my opponent's only real attacker to utilize. Wait, did they have 1 more? No, that makes sense. They had 1 more Fusion Strike energy. Okay, yeah. So yeah, we just kind of win the game. I guess they could go Psychic Leap and then go to the Meloetta this turn, but then they should Psychic Leap with this one. Yeah, they could Psychic Leap with this one and then go to the Meloetta this turn, and then I actually wouldn't quite win unless I have boss, which I do have, but my opponent doesn't know that. But yeah, we would still win the game because we do have this boss in hand. Yeah, I don't see how my opponent ever has a chance in this one anymore. I think this one pretty much locked up, and this is what I was talking about. This matchup just feels so good for the Blissey deck. I was super surprised about how many I actually was able to beat with Blissey on the stream the other day. It was kind of insane. We just kept playing against them, but we kept winning. Sometimes the Mews would open with a little bit of a slow start, like this one actually here did. But even when they open with a more aggressive start, kind of just didn't matter. They were never able to really get to that point where Meloetta was taking like huge one-hit KOs early on. My opponent was never able to get to that point at all. Yeah, we were able to pretty easily clean up the games with not too much needed. A Crushing Hammer or 2 maybe sometimes, or an early knockout on a Meloetta to remove the energy off of Meloetta. Just like make sure they can't get to the point where they get the 4 Fusion Strike energy in play. If they don't get to that point really aggressively, also Path to the Peak slows them down as well. If they can't get to that point, it's pretty much a free matchup. Great hand in this one. Path to the Peak, the Research, so we can discard both of these energies, draw into a new energy, and then get them back with the Blissful Blast. We are up against another Mew VMAX, so maybe another dub. We'll see. Matchup is definitely losable, but like I said, it does feel like a good one. It does feel like a really good matchup. Cramomatic start for my opponent, so pretty good so far for my opponent for sure. They're going to have a pretty aggressive start here, almost definitely, with this Battle VIP pass, and we'll see what else they have in the hand to get going as well. The Genesects are coming out, but yeah, we got a pretty good, like I said, Path to the Peak, the Research. That's pretty much all we want on the first turn. It's possible we don't immediately go with this Research. We probably will, though. But I could check the Pokegear. We could go with an Alistar, depending on what we top deck. Maybe we want to hold the hand. Like if we top deck another Path to the Peak or something like that, we maybe want to hold off. But we do also really want to get another Blissey in play, just in case my opponent can get or gets a really aggressive start to the point where they just, you know, are able to like one-hit KO Blissey on the next turn. So finding a cape, finding an extra Blissey to put in play are definitely things that we want to do, because we don't want to get one-hit KO'd like back-to-back or anything like that. So we do want to prioritize potentially slowing my opponent down, finding Crushing Hammer, Fan of Waves, whatever. Get those Fusion Strike energy out of play. Don't let them sit in play, because yeah, that's the Melodious Echo is what we're scared of, getting to that 280 points. We need Crushing Hammer like 1 Fusion Strike energy usually, or KO something that has one on it to get it out of play, to kind of just stop my opponent from having that super aggressive start that can be tough for us to come back from, to be honest. So if we can just like slow that down a little bit, you know, whether it be the Path to the Peak or a couple Crushing Hammer heads or something like that, we just need something to slow them down just a tad, so they can't just kind of run over us. Stabilize and go from there. They're actually giving up on an Elsa Sparkle off that quick ball there. So it kind of tells me that they have an Elsa Sparkle in hand, to be honest. I don't know why you would do that unless you have one in hand. So most definitely have an Elsa Sparkle. There was the Flannery actually, so maybe I could have used Flannery and then use the Path to the Peak. I think I still would have gone with this research play, to be honest, just this and then research. We got the capture energy, which is great to make sure we get another Blissey in play, just in case my opponent does get the knockout on their next turn. We did not get any Crushing Hammer. That's really the main card I was looking for here, Crushing Hammer, to be honest. Even a Fan of Waves would have been nice. It doesn't discard the Fusion Strike energy, but it does mean they have 0 in play, so they can get a max of 3 in play. But now that we don't have any energy removal for the Fusion Strike energy, my opponent can get, Tails on the Cram-O-Matic. Okay, maybe no Stadium for my opponent. But because we do get, no energy disruption at all, they could get 4 Fusion Strike energy and play this turn, and that's where it gets scary. That's where it does get scary. We also didn't get a cape, so my opponent would just need the 4 Fusion Strike energy. Even 3 Fusion Strike energy and double Tablet or Tablet and Vitality Band would get a KO here. Here comes a boss to stall. This is one of the things that can be annoying about the Blissey deck, is like we need to bench this Blissey just to make sure we don't lose the game, but then my opponent can also do this kind of boss play where they do kind of stall out our Blissey. But we'll be able to use Alistar next turn and then start attacking with this Blissey. No problem. I could go with a Flannery here, but then I'd have to put a Path to the Peak in play. I don't want to run out of Path to the Peak. I'm just going to go with the Alistar, draw a couple cards, discard the Capture energy, I think. Catch the Cape, catch the Powerful, and then Blissful Blast. And they actually put the Fusion Strike energy on the Meloetta, which I think is definitely a mistake from my opponent here, because now I can actually boss KO the Meloetta with just a couple energy on my Blissey. Like, this Blissey right here can actually KO this Meloetta. And there's the concede, Path to the Peak too much, and that really is how this matchup goes a lot of the time. We put a Path to the Peak in play, and my opponent just does not have an answer, and it happens once again. It really is that easy up against Mew VMAX sometimes. All right, we get to win the coin flip this time. We will go first. We do generally like to go first, except up against the Mew VMAX matchup, because that is a matchup where if we go first, then we can just kind of get donked before we have a chance to kind of play the game through the Meloetta play. So up against Mew VMAX, we prefer to go second, but every other matchup, we definitely want to be going first and open up our options, get off stuff like turn 1 Path and stuff. Can be good in other matchups as well. But yeah, up against Mew VMAX, even though we can get like a turn 1 Path, it's not like super likely to happen, so we definitely prefer to go second. Oh my gosh, 5 mulligans. Definitely not how we want to start. We are up against another Mew VMAX here, but we got that turn 1 Path. But with 5 mulligans, it could be a little bit dicey here for sure. With 5 mulligans, my opponent has that much higher of a chance to have a Stadium in the opening hand. Of course, if they don't, it's very possible they don't have a very aggressive turn. But to be honest, with this many cards in the hand, they could even just like kind of donk us without even needing access to Genesect. To be honest, they could get that Sparkle attachment with a Fusion Strike energy and then 2 tablets, and we're kind of cooked. And our current hand does not have a whole ton of follow-up. I'm not gonna lie, our hand is pretty rough right here. Flannery, Crushing Hammer, Path to the Peak are great. Even the boss could be good as well to stall the Genesect. And there's that Stadium replacement, so now I'm pretty scared. They did give up I thought they gave up a switch there. Maybe that was in the last game I'm thinking about. The Genesects are coming out now, so yeah, I'm a little bit scared. Yeah, they had the immediate counter of the Stadium, so we're really just, there's the double tablet, the Fusion Strike energy. Oh no, I was just talking about it. Do they have this? I was like, this all comes down to, do they have the Stadium and everything else? Oh my gosh, a battle VIP pass as well. So this is kind of what can happen in this matchup. Even if we get the turn 1 Path, they got the counter Stadium, and we did mulligan 5 times. We don't play very many basic Pokemon, so it happens. We mulligan quite a bit. If they can find the Sparkle, we are just cooked. And to be honest, there's probably a decent chance that they find the Sparkle here, a Great Ball coming down. But if they don't, we do have some good cards to potentially disrupt my opponent on the next turn and possibly slow them down to the point where we can finally draw a draw supporter and get cooking ourselves. Last Genesect, I believe, coming in here. Maybe they have one more. Here comes a Quick Ball thingy out the Battle VIP Pass. Haven't seen the Sparkle yet, so I think we've maybe survived. And it looks like we have. We've survived just barely. I like using... Let's go with the Crushing Hammer. And just the Tails. I almost just want to go Flannery, Path to the Peak. I'm kind of like content with that as a play. Also, Path to the Peak, but I need to remove one of these energies from play. And we need to keep one of those out of play. I think I'm content with this. If I had got the heads on Crushing Hammer, I might have looked for a research or something off the Pokegear. But I think I am content with this line. Removing 1 Fusion Strike energy from play is the important first step to stopping the big Melodious Echo from my opponent, or the potential for a big Melodious Echo. So just getting that out of the way. There's the Sparkle, though. Looks like my opponent top deck Sparkle then, because they didn't play it last turn. Turn late, thankfully. Only 1 energy to the active, though. They can still Psychic Leap. No VMAX, maybe just the Leap. Are they going to go back to the deck? Probably not, I would assume. No, not going back to the deck. Now, we only do play 2 boss, so losing both our boss I don't love the idea of that, but they're also not that important. So we are going to give them up here. As I said, I don't love the idea of losing both boss, but really, truly not that big of a deal, I don't think. Got some crushing hammers to work with. Let's go ahead and remove some energy here. I think once again, we just kind of want to target. They are down a training court, but we don't know how many training court they play. A lot of people have been trending towards playing 2. If we get another heads, we will just remove all the energy from play, though. So we did. Yeah, a lot of people have been playing 2 training court, so definitely want to keep that in mind. Almost actually get the KO. We're actually only 10 damage off there. Yeah, we want to keep that in mind. A lot of people play 2 trading courts, so I think we still want to be targeting the Fusion Strike energy. We do play Phantom Waves as well, but I feel like the Phantom Waves don't come up that often in this matchup because I mostly am targeting those Fusion Strike energy with the Crushing Hammers. Another Elsa Sparkle top deck. Once again, this is probably a top deck for my opponent. No hits, so they either have a Fusion Strike energy in hand or they've prized 2 Fusion Strike energy, and that's it. We get another dub against Mew. Yeah, that one was scary though. They had a really aggressive start. I guess we never had to be too worried about the Elsa Sparkle, to be honest, because it looks like they had 2 Fusion Strike energy prized the whole time. But then as soon as we get that, and as soon as we got that Path to the Peak in play and got that stuck, take away all their draw power, and we were just cruising from there. Yeah, that's Blissey against Mew, I guess. I hope you guys enjoyed the games. If you did, give the video a like, enjoy the content. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell, and I'll see you guys not tomorrow, in a couple days. Gonna be going away for the holidays, but yeah, see you in a bit. Peace.